Welcome to the EPG Pathshala. I'm Dr. Dhriti Ray, Assistant Professor in the Department of Museology, University of Calcutta. Today we'll know about museology, heritage study and cultural study. In Indian culture, it is very important to know about the heritage and culture. These two are the basic component of any museum and as well as museology, because museology deals about the museum. So in this topic we'll know heritage as a component of museology, about the heritage study, culture as a component of museology and cultural study. So we will focus on heritage and cultural issues as two major components of museology. As museum deals with the collection, preservation, interpretation and service towards the development of society through its material and non-material evidences. To deal with various aspects of museum, the subject museology is developed during the 20th century. Museology objectifies heritage as an exhibit in a museum or museum-like organization, including monuments, temples, etc. Heritage includes both material and non-material culture. Cultural studies includes history, geography, social science, political science, economics, language, literature, mathematics, astronomy, astrology, science, technology, medicine, religion, culture, media, entertainment, and information technology, and whatever thing which are associated with the human in their day-to-day life since the origin of human race. The role of museology is to depict the culture in its different form, establishing different kind of museum. Like few new emerging museums in the world, museums on partitions in Amritsar, Canadian Museum of Human Rights in Canada. These kind of museums are evolving to exhibit the culture of the respective society, the history of the society, the special event of the society. These are the different historical events or the important thing that happened with that society. These museums are established with a scope to present the culture in its true context. Though museology, heritage and culture are different vast of subject, but all these three are interlinked with each other. So in this module, we will know about the heritage and culture and how these two important components of the vast fields are associated with the museum and with the subject of museology. Heritage and museology. Within these two, museology is the study of museum as a key organization in the field of museal. This study helps to musealize heritage and culture in museum and preserve in situ as a living tradition. Museology enables understanding of all kinds of heritage in tangible and intangible forms, and knowledge like evolution of man, early civilization and humans creation in different era, and also association of man with nature. In museum, the knowledge about the heritage is disseminated through interpretation of inner message of the object and exhibit. Heritage, on the other hand, is the full range of our inherited tradition, monuments, objects and culture. Lowenthal argues that in the realm of human experience, we create heritage. To most people, heritage is therefore more important than history and is a product of human invention and creativity. From the mid-1950s, the notion of heritage gradually incorporated all material evidences of man and his environment. Thus, folklore heritage, scientific heritage, and industrial heritage are gradually integrated into the concept of heritage. See, the definition of heritage coined by Irvin in 2000, we will find all objects or groups of objects, material or intangible, that are collectively recognized or appropriated for their value as evidence and historical memory, and which merit being protected, preserved, and enhanced. So, all natural or man-made goods and values, whether material or intangible, without restriction of time or space, be inherited. Heritage is a public goods. Its preservation must be assumed by the community. Heritage is broadly classified into cultural heritage and natural heritage. Cultural heritage is again we considered as a built heritage and intangible heritage. Built heritage includes monuments, sites, temples, and some loose movable objects. So these are also the tangible heritage, part of the tangible heritage. In case of intangible heritage, we consider folklore, folk tales, fables, ballads, which all these are the man-made culture or the man-made heritage. So cultural heritage we widely say as the heritage built by human race. In case of natural or heritage, these are the heritage made in the nature. So natural heritage, we considered the our ecosystem, the component of various ecosystem, the flora, fauna. These are the part of natural heritage. So we, in case of natural heritage, in case of, as you see in cultural heritage, which are the man-made, in case of the natural heritage, every objects that are made in nature, by the nature. So natural heritage is the gift of nature, may live in environment forming an ecosystem along with several biotic components associated with them. So these are also the part of natural heritage. Man share natural resources like rocks, minerals, water, coal, petroleum, gems, stones. So all these are the part of natural heritage. So in heritage part, these are the two major components which we deal in museum and in the subject of museology, that is the cultural heritage and the natural heritage. Now come to the heritage study. So hope you understand what are the heritage, what are the different kinds of heritage, and how it is related with the museum, because all this heritage like cultural or natural heritage, we preserve all those in our museum in a systematic manner through a complete management procedure, that is the part of museology. So in this way, heritage is the main component of museum as well as museology. So to know or to study about the heritage, we need to study it as a heritage studies, and in this heritage studies we learn many aspects about the heritage issues. So heritage study is an interdisciplinary field of studies bringing together professional and academicians who explores how the past is used in the present. You will find whatever you will see in museum, these are the component of our heritage, different object of our heritage, and how we use this object, the heritage object, in past, and we use, what we inherited till today. So it looks at the relationship between the people and tangible and intangible heritage through the use of social science research method. While related to the discipline of history, heritage conservation and historic preservation, heritage studies are not necessarily concerned with the objective representation of the past. So, in heritage studies, we need to learn apart from this, and as you know, the history is the raw fact of the past, as Atkinson and MacLeod Shaw in 2000 stated this, while heritage is history processed through mythology, ideology, nationalism, local pride, romantic ideas, or just plain marketing. So in this way, we studied, we cultured our heritage in our different era, and now we are preserving this heritage in form of objectification in the museum. And in heritage study, we study all these aspects together. According to UNESCO, heritage studies should include mandatorily some aspects. These are archaeology, architectural conservation, heritage management, heritage and tourism management, history of arts, manuscriptology, and museology. So these are the basic thing. Based on these subjects, various type of heritage studies courses are designed in various universities within India and abroad also. These are the basic subjects which are studied in the heritage studies. Heritage studies, some basic subjects that are talked about, that are understanding about the heritage. This portion includes etymology, the definition. Etymology means the origin of or the concept or the definition or the nomenclature of the term heritage. It also includes the concept of heritage in different countries, historical development, practices in preserving heritage in different historical period, typology and different kind of heritage, human relationship with the heritage. So these are the component in what we study in understanding the concept of heritage. So these are the primarily thing that are required to study in heritage study. Another paper or the subject in heritage study is the tourism and heritage. As you know, tourism is completely depends upon the heritage issues. So tourism and heritage we need to study in depthly in the heritage studies. It is closely associated with heritage and includes the concept and historical development of tourism, types, tourism, industry, strategy, mission and objectives, major heritage sites, its history and importance, generating attractions, transport, accommodation, refreshment, shopping, entertainments, management, conventions, laws, exhibition, fairs, tourism regulation. These are the various aspects of tourism that is required to associate with the heritage study and need to study in depthly. In case of heritage study, we also need to know about the various laws and legislation. And it's very much important to know these laws to understand which are the heritage of our country or our society, how significant they are this heritage, how antique is the object, what is the rules and regulation in dealing with this heritage. So all these are required to know, and we study with the help of study of the various laws and legislation that were formulated with the heritage within our country, or various international laws associated with the heritage study. These are basically the Indian Treasure Trove Act 1878, the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958, the Antiquities and Art Treasure Act 1972, the Indian Museum Act 1961, and international laws governing cultural heritage, copyright, intellectual properties. These are very much important to study to understand how visitors will deal, or the people deal with this heritage, what are the rules and regulation in dealing with this heritage object or the sites. So what we keep in the museum, how we make the assess the importance of the heritage, all we need are based on these acts, laws or legislation associated with the antiquities and art objects and heritage of our country. Museology is also the matter of study in heritage studies, and most of the courses includes about how the heritage to be traced, knowledge dissemination to common people, preservation and conservation technique, process of documentation and various modes of interpretation, how tangible and intangible heritage can be musealized and exhibited. So in museology and heritage, museology as a subject, we study to know how heritage can be objectified or musealized in a museum, how this heritage can be interpreted to the people, how this heritage can be designed for the, can be formulated as a used in a educational program to aware people the mode of preservation and conservation. So these are the technical aspects in dealing heritage with the common people, because museum is makes a bridge between the heritage and the common people, and these are the very technical aspects that those we study in museology, to design, to explain, to interpret, to conserve and preserve in a museum. So in this way, museology is an important subject in a heritage study. Heritage study, it is also required to know about the heritage management, because management is an entire administrative procedure, and it deals about the concept, planning, declaration of the site as a protected area by national acts, declaration of World Heritage Site, agencies, organization, marketing procedures like product development and service, natural and cultural attraction, festivals, religious tourism, market surveys, research and target market selection, promotion, advertising, publication, film, sales, marketing mix. All these are the things which we need to study in a heritage management discipline, and these are very much required to know complete about the heritage study, because unless these issues, heritage cannot be managed or cannot be properly declared or properly shared with the common people. Another big or important area of study is the preservation and conservation. Heritage, like the movable heritage which are kept inside the museum, are taken care of by museum itself. But the sites, monasteries, stupas, the built heritage, especially are taken care of by Archaeological Surveys of India and various conservation institute situated in India, or sometimes with the international bodies. We take help of the international bodies also. So there are two important organizations in India that look after the conservation of heritage, conservation of built heritage. These are the INTACT and NRLC, and their technique and approaches are studied in the heritage study course. Inside museum, objects are taken care of museum itself and are studied simultaneously. So in this way, these are the various issues that were dealt in the heritage study courses, and it completes with all these aspects of heritage and essential to know about it while studying heritage study and it also including the museological aspects. Now come to the culture and museum. What is the difference between the culture and heritage? We sometimes confused with the heritage and the culture, and how the culture is a part of of museology, and what the culture is actually, and it can be defined. And in this part, we will know more about the culture and heritage, and also understand how the culture and heritage run parallelly and deal with the and preserved inside the museum. Culture is entirely learned during our lifetime and associated with people living in a community. It is the full range of learned behavior pattern and knowledge acquired by people as member of a community. It is also the manifestation of human intellectual achievements in both arts and science. Culture as a component of museum is studied under museology to understand its genesis, practice, and its cessation or halt and conversion into another new culture. It is a continuous process and run intangibly. The role of museology is to making history alive, or the making this culture alive through the objectification and displaying it in the museum. So this is the important job that museology plays in the culture. It also helps to document the culture, musealize it for the knowledge of common people, preserving it, and to establish an authentic cause of genesis to stop misconception. So this is the culture and its association with the museology technically. Culture is everything associated with human beings since the origin and early civilization, community formation, society development, religious practices, belief, traditions, food habits, livelihood, discoveries, etc., which are intangible. These are the cultural heritage, and it can be defined as culture encompasses religion, food, what we wear, how we wear it, our language, marriage, music, what we believe is right or wrong, how we sit at the table, how we greet visitors, how we behave with loved one, and a million other things. So in this way, you see, the culture is many things which are closely associated with our day-to-day life, with our behavior and everything. And the role of museology to make this culture alive. How it can be alive? Making display, proper display, developing exhibit, develop objectification of this culture, using display aids, models that intangibly like the developing the recordings or the play or the ballads. These are in all sorts of this mode. A museum display or present the culture to the visitors or to the common people to make our culture alive generation after generation. Hope you understand what is culture. Now come to the cultural studies and let's see what we study in this cultural studies, and museology comes along with this cultural study. It is a field of theoretically, politically and empirically engaged cultural analysis. It concentrates upon the political dynamics of contemporary culture, its historical foundation, defining traits, conflict and contingencies. Researchers investigate how cultural practices could relate with the social phenomena, ideology, class, nation, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender, etc. In cultural study, it is not as fixed, bounded, stable and discrete entities, but rather as constantly interacting and changing set of practices and processes. Although distinct from the discipline of cultural anthropology and ethnic studies, cultural studies contributed to each of the disciplines. Cultural studies was initially developed by British academics during 1950s and 70s, subsequently taken up and transformed by scholars from many different disciplines around the world. In cultural studies, we learn many interdisciplinary subjects. It covers ethnography, sociology, politics, literature, language, history, social sciences, cultural aspect, heritage, many things we cover in this cultural studies. We also focus on some communication studies, economics, art history, criticism. Cultural studies courses at postgraduate institute or universities generally includes these subjects and frame the course based on these available subjects. Now come to the component of cultural studies one by one. Cultural studies includes right from the proto-historic and prehistoric culture, like the period of the time before written records. Myths that stretch back into prehistory includes cave-dwelling man, their art, tools, and early society. This is the proto-historic aspects of cultural studies. It also includes and focuses on the beginning of the Stone and Metal Age, painted greyware culture, black redware culture, cultural sequence in Ganga Plains, archaeological cultures, northeastern India culture, technology, economy, agriculture, copper hoards, literature, emergence of complexity in society, etc. It is all about the aspects related with the early society that man lived in pre-proto-historic and prehistoric time. It also covers the Vedic age or the Harappan civilization. Here, Vedic society, religion, all this aspect we study in the cultural heritage. It also includes architectural evidences, artifacts, society system, stretches, township, religion, trade, economy, language, and the decline of Harappa civilization. And actually, it deals all about the cultural aspects of Harappan civilization and the Vedic age. Along with this, cultural study also include the cultural, social and religious heritage, like social traditions, varna, jati, ashrama system. These are the early societal structure that we lived in. And it also we start studying of these aspects in these cultural studies. Religion and philosophy of different religions like Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, and later on Sikhism, Ajivikas, Vaishnavism. India has many religions, And in cultural studies, we have to study all these aspects, all the religious aspects of different religion. Real life hypothetical fieldwork are designed to provide students with the opportunity to know the subject practically and to know about the different cultural heritage, practice of different cultural heritage. It also includes evolution and the political idea. You know, when society developed since the early ages, with the society, the political power, the polity evolved within our society. So in the cultural study, it also includes the evolution of polity, its formative period, crystallization of percept and ideas, laws and legal institution, concept of republic. These are the various things which are associated with the cultural heritage, and we need to study all this in this course. In the educational and scientific development portion within the cultural study, it focuses the evolution of formal and social educational institution. Like we had Gurukul system, the ashrama concept, and these are our age-old educational culture. So all these are studied while studying the different cultural aspects. Important centers of learning in ancient period in the field of mathematics, astronomy, astrology, architecture, medicine, surgery, these are also the part of this course. Eminent personality, we also study about the eminent personality like our mathematicians, our astronomers, our astrologers. We have a long legendary history associated with them, and these are also the part of this study. In this regard, we also study about the Aryabhatta, Varahamihir, Shushruth, and Aryabhatta, Charaka. So we have so many persons, so many legends, and their contribution to our science and culture, history is tremendous. So in this portion, the educational and scientific development, we include all these aspects in this study. In case of anthropology, which is the very much essential component of this study, we study all about right from the origin of man, their prehistoric culture in different ages like Chalcolithic, Paleolithic, Chalcolithic, Mesolithic, and different age, Stone Age, Iron Age, Copper Age, Iron Age, sequentially. We also study all these aspects, the tools, their cave paintings, their society, early agricultural systems, all falls under these aspects. Along with this, we also study about the ethnic groups, their culture, their lifestyle, their habitat, their society. These are the different things that comes under this anthropology portion. In case of epigraphy and numismatic, as you know, epigraphy, it is the study of inscription and script. We have so many inscriptions that we have recovered during our excavations, and it is very much essential to decipher the script, to know the history, the culture of our past. So in this portion, it includes the origin and antiquity of different our ancient scripts like Brahmi, Kharosthi, Harappan script. Several attempts were made to decipher it. Mauryan Brahmi script and history of the decipherment, Gupta inscriptions. So there are so many things in the epigraphy section that are also the part of our cultural study, and we study epigraphy in this as a cultural element. In case of numismatic, it includes the coin as a source of history and the origin of antiquity of coins, technique of manufacturing ancient coins issued by several rulers. So all these, the earlier technique, the technological development and material development, use of material, the several instructions, several images, the iconographic interpretation of coins, so many things we study in the numismatic section. In ethnic art and culture of India, we study about the intangible heritage of our different ethnic groups. It includes outline of ethnology of India, cultural distribution, social customs, rituals, theatrical arts, ballads, storytelling forms, puppetry, shadow plays, skit, social satires, wall and floor decorations, tattoos. Like this, there are so many things associated with the day-to-day or daily life, tradition, rites and rituals. All these comes under the ethnic art and culture of India portion. So, in this way, museology being the part of heritage studies and the cultural studies come close to each other, and these three are the interrelated components. It is the subject museology that deals with the heritage and culture of human being for the musealization of evidence in terms of object in museum and for the knowledge of common people. Museology fosters objectification of heritage and culture and its preservation either in situ or in museum. It is the interdisciplinary subject that combines the heritage studies and cultural studies as museal for its musealization. Through the museographical approaches, researches are carried on in the field of heritage and culture to preserve it within the society. So, in this way, these three subjects, the three major components are interlinked with each other, and studying one, we need to cover rest of the others, and all these are the integrated part of any museum, because in museum we represent or exhibits heritage and culture through a maintaining a procedure that comes under the museology. So in this way, museology covers heritage studies and cultural studies. So if you know more about the museology, heritage study and the cultural study, you go into the website of EPG Pathshala, where you can get the detail about this presentation and the text about the museology, heritage study and cultural study. So, thank you.